With just 2 days remaining before the expiration of a U.S.-imposed deadline for progress on a peace agreement in Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin welcomed American envoy Steve Witkoff to Moscow for a round of diplomatic talks. The 3-hour meeting, held behind closed doors, was described by Russian officials as useful and constructive, though no concrete outcomes were announced. The discussions come amid growing international pressure. The U.S. administration, under President Donald Trump, has warned that it will implement wide-ranging economic measures if Russia does not agree to a ceasefire. These measures may include tariffs on nations importing Russian energy and sanctions targeting Russia's so-called shadow fleet of oil tankers. Witkoff was received in Moscow by Kirill Dmitriev, the head of Russia's sovereign wealth fund, before later being pictured in a formal meeting with Putin. The Kremlin emphasized the importance of maintaining open channels of communication, with presidential spokesperson Dmitry Peskov noting that the dialogue was both substantive and timely. President Trump has made it clear that if no agreement is reached by August 9, his administration is prepared to act. In recent weeks, the U.S. has been increasing pressure not only on Russia, but also on countries such as India and China, urging them to scale back purchases of Russian oil and gas. Trump has indicated that these efforts are aimed at encouraging Moscow to come to the negotiating table in earnest. Behind the scenes, expectations remain low. Observers familiar with the situation suggest that Russia is unlikely to accept terms that deviate from its long-held positions. Some see the latest talks as a final effort to reach a mutually acceptable framework before the imposition of further punitive measures. Although the Kremlin has stated it does not wish to damage relations with the United States, sources close to Russian leadership indicate that core strategic goals in the Ukraine conflict remain the priority. At the same time, there is recognition in Moscow that ongoing sanctions have had limited impact on policy shifts, and skepticism remains regarding their future effectiveness. As the August deadline nears, attention will turn to whether any tangible progress emerges from the recent talks, or whether the window for diplomatic resolution is closing fast.